Hello my fellow YouTubers, it is Friday, February 28th, 8:45 p.m. Denver time, and let's see what's going on in the world of horseshit. Oh, I missed a big thing, and when my last video was uploading, but I put it in the comment section, in the description. A huge fact in all this is this thing is supposed to be more contagious and infectious than the SARS and the MERS and the flu and Ebola and everything else, and even YouTube. If it's supposed to be that infectious, yet it's not all over the world. Because I got that so wrong, even though I was saying it, but I was reversing it and covering for these asswipes. Yet that's so infectious, it should be all over the U.S., just like the common flu is. Oh, I moved my head there. Just like the common influenza is right now, and that's another thing. They could blame that on anything. Let's move along. If you don't prep, or if you don't have enough preps, you better prep, because the preppers are hoarding. That's what they're saying all over YouTube anyway. I don't see the shortage of nothing yet in Denver. I know these shortages could still come because there's still stockpiles and ships and all that crap at sea, whatever. But all the preppers are hoarding, so you might want to become a prepper even if you're not a prepper. Okay, what about the forgotten and all the BS of the 5 million people that got out of Wuhan once they announced that, you had so much time to get out before they were going to lock it down and no more buses going in and out, no more trains going in and out. If there was 5 million people out there that got out and even 1,000 of them had the flu and were spread around the world, then it should be more widespread, but it's not. That was fear-mongering from the start over this horse shit. I mean, this would be world. This should be all over our country by now. Like I buffaloed myself. You can't stop. You can't stop something that's viral. I mean, you can't do it. There was a lady, and I tried to find it in my history. I watched a very good and what I thought was a very intelligent video she put out about the 5G being in all these areas where the outbreaks are. Okay, well that's wrong, because one of them Marf showed. He showed, somebody sent him a map of Australia, and there was these 4 cities on one part of the coast where there was a outbreak of the CV, and he says the map matches perfect. Well, no, because there was 10 locations. Let me show this. Oh, I should have paused this, but there was 10 locations all around Australia where they had the 5G, and only 4 had CV, that's coronavirus, so that did not match perfectly. But back to this lady's video, but then the hard part, and where she screwed up in trying to explain it, she's trying to explain how the 5G was on the Princess cruise ship. Well, as near as I could tell, doing a bunch of my duck Googling, there is no 5G on cruise ships. There is 5G in certain ports. She tried to go off into this long technical explanation of how they're using satellites and I think even balloons to float the 5G the responders or transmitters or boosters around or whatever. That was a bunch of horse pucky. I don't think 5G is related to this at all. And they're going to use a 5G for whatever they want and what I'd use it for. Now all these truthers, look at them all. Every last one of them is telling you to prep and be ready to bug in. So now, if this is supposed to be some wide spread pandemic, FEMA camps are going to open, we're all going to be rounded up, get microchipped and chopped up and whatever, why is it now suddenly all reversed to bug in instead of bug out? Remember, some crap come up before and they're like, oh no, don't bug in, then you're stuck behind enemy lines for when the troops come out. It's funny. Now it's all bug in, don't bug out. Oh, these retards. Again, if anybody can find anything where 5G is actually on a cruise ship, out there where the 5G can't reach, let me know. Marf read from a report that 50% of the sick are being missed in screenings. There you go again. If 50% of the people that are carrying the coronavirus are sick, this should even be more widespread. I should have wrote it down. I just watched something from BP Earthwatch reading a report, and something like 5 or 6 screenings for the coronavirus can be wrong per person or some crap like that. That's this crap should be all over the place. If they're missing that many people flying around and shipping around, give me a break. All these false tests, these false positives and these false negatives. I mean, why even test people? It's just so freaking stupid. Again, the incubation period is supposed to be up to 24 days, or some now are even saying 27. So again, what's the point testing anybody? So you can get lucky. I mean, like I said in a few videos ago or a week ago, what are you going to do now? Start quarantining people for a month? Oh, there's more fear-mongering videos for another week or two. Oppenheimer Ranch Project is still having Dr. Paul Cottrell on as a guest, even though he was out there pushing the Freemasons. That just shows the desperation and the greed of some of these channels to get their subs and their views and their sales. Got to make a buck or two. It doesn't matter what people have to say. His channel's still growing. He had shitloads of negative comments on that Freemason video, but I noticed he went from 24K to 26K since then. I know new people come up on a channel and he doesn't say Freemasons in that title, so a lot of people aren't even going to know he said that. I think he regrets that now. He's going to do his best to bury that. A woman caller recommending Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Paul Cottrell. Cottrell got on that kick, and I didn't catch on to it till yesterday when I was doing my notes here. Cottrell found the HIV strains in the CV. No, he didn't. It was them two researchers or doctors or scientists or whatever it is in India. There was a website. I didn't write it down. There's a website where people can go and post papers before they are peer-reviewed. Now it doesn't say, but I think that site is there so people can post something before somebody else steals your paper, steals your theory, whatever. Oh, this is my non-sponsor, Keystone Light. Not recommended if you have coronavirus symptoms. You might want some Jack for that. Yeah. No, I have Jack. Anyway, he did not. This was not his find. Maybe he should be sued for that. They pulled it. These two Indian doctors or scientists, whatever they were, claim they pulled their own paper. Take that for what it's worth. Everything's a freaking conspiracy on YouTube. But even though they pulled the paper, what's in the paper is still online. They found these HIV strains. 4 of them, strands, whatever the hell you want to call it, in the coronavirus. But if you Google the opposite end and look at all the scientists are saying, well, that's bullshit, because it's true, but it's bullshit of what the Cottrell was pushing, and maybe even these two guys from India, because they carefully explain how there's HIV segments in all of these coronaviruses. It's in all of them, and maybe they're right. Maybe I know they got chopped up and buried somewhere. Everybody gets. I had a comment a couple of videos ago. While all this is going on, the planet is still dying. I've seriously got away from that and all the stuff from watching Dan Wigington and others about the geoengineering, the chemtrailing, and so let me go ramble through my little notes here. So we got the chemtrails that's been going on at least since Vietnam, Fukushima. 50 plus years of dumping shit in the oceans and burying it in the ground. Militaries using depleted uranium. Massive deaths of the oceans, the fish, the plankton, everything. Massive tree die-offs from the chemtrailing, fires, and anything else. Wigington's been warning of food shortages to come for, I don't know, at least 5 years now. And this is going to speed it up. This might even be part of it. I mean, we don't know. We're never going to know even if they tell us the truth, right? Massive crop losses from drought and flooding. There are more crop losses from drought and flooding and cattle losses than there are colds or freezes. So all that BS about the solar minimum, we're heading to the Ice Age, solar wandering, retards. Our ozone is toast. The UV rays continue to bake everything, including us on this planet. The continued animal die-offs. I'm going to read just a few of these from the endtimesprophecy.org. If you're not a Christian, it's a good list. It's the most accurate and up-to-date I've ever seen. February 6th, Iran, thousands of dead flamingos from disease. Doesn't say what. February 5th, Bali, hundreds of tons of dead fish in a lake in Indonesia. February 5th, hundreds of dead pigs from the swine fever in Bali. The 4th, hundreds of thousands of poultry killed over avian flu in Saudi Arabia. The 3rd, tons of dead fish in rivers in Arlana, Brazil. Hopefully I wrote that right. February 2nd, 18,000 chickens killed from the bird flu in Hunan. From March of 19, 500 million bees have died in 3 months in 4 states in Brazil. Like Wigington and others say, when the bees die, we die. When the ocean dies, we die. When the trees die, we die. And we're killing it all. I had to say this again, but that chart the truthers were showing, or the world chart, the U.S. and allies were not going to, would not be affected, would not have an economic impact in a pandemic. Again, obviously, they were wrong. And again, this is still not a pandemic, but it was a pandemic chart. This is good stuff. Trump at the coronavirus press conference. A reporter, if so infectious, why are you not banning travel from Italy and South Korea? Trump says he's the president of the U.S., not other countries. He says some are respected in what they do. I'm assuming that means containing something like this. He says he wants to be responsible for the United States. Well, if you're going to be responsible, then you would ban flights at least, like you did with China, and they didn't ban all the damn flights anyway. And you could fly to another part of China. 24-day incubation period. Doesn't matter. They could go hop on a canoe and canoe on over. He says he wants to focus on this country. He does not. He has no right to impose on others. They imposed on China. They impose every time they go start a war or overthrow a government or bomb the shit out of somebody. If needed, he would use restrictions on the border. Well, he's already doing that on the southern border, supposedly stopping Chinese people from coming in. And like I said, he didn't mind imposing on China, and they don't consider this stuff a threat because there's no threat. I mean, can't really get more simpler than that. If there was a big threat, I guarantee they'd be doing something about it. And I've seen the videos, people, I think somebody even left a comment, if you notice, none of the reporters or Trump, anybody's wearing a mask. Well, they're not gonna. They weren't told not to. They're just not gonna, because that's just the way it's gonna go with that. This explains a lot why they put, this is well, the office phone's ringing. This explains, all these truthers are saying, well, Pence is put in charge to control the damage. No, he's not. Pence has been put in charge, and now they're saying somebody's claiming there's a gag order and everything all press releases have to go through him. Well, I believe that because they need to hide the fact of the bullshit of what is not coronavirus. I mean, it's people. I'm gotta wake up and realize what bullshit. I mean, I've obviously watched my videos. I fell for it. I'm not gonna delete nothing. I have nothing to be ashamed of here, and I'm not gonna hide nothing. And that also explains why they are testing so few people here in the U.S. That explains why they're not doing anything about travel from Italy and South Korea. It's during the flu season. This is their perfect cover, so they can say any certain flu case, any certain flu death is coronavirus and not the flu. And if this is a big thing I missed until somebody else said it, and I put it in my last video, this coronavirus should be causing a lot of pneumonia in kids, just like regular influenza could do with pneumonia in kids and all that. There's got to be more pneumonia cases in kids, and there's not. And why is that? Because they're picking certain deaths and certain sicknesses to say this and that. And I'm going to guarantee you, if we can get some proof in the pudding, when all this is said and done, there is not going to be as many millions that got sick as they said, and even their death count. If I could prove it, by the time this is all said and done, I'd be willing to bet, especially in Wuhan, more people would have died of frickin' starvation and other heart attacks and other illnesses because they were not allowed to go anywhere. It's just pathetic what they're doing to people in their country, but we're never going to know it. That's what sucks, Well, they could throw the truth in our face, and we would say, oh, you're freaking lying. They could lie to us and say, well, no, the truth is, Business Insider, I'm sure most people have heard this. Canadian family of 5 kicked off of a flight. They had a girl, 21 months old, sick, coughing, hacking, sneezing, whatever. 2 doctors cleared her, I'm assuming at the airport, and the airline still said no, and the airline said no, it's not because of coronavirus. This is the kind of fear bullshit that can be put out through mainstream, and that's also coming from our alleged truthers. Fear. Mark Fugel, AMTV, Prepper Nurse, BP Earthwatch. I don't know, check Paul Bagler, but I'm sure he's on the fear. He's all Armageddon's here now anyway. Lisa Heaven, she's always on this too, that we're all going to die tomorrow, or we already died, we just don't know it, we're in the Matrix. Anyway, until next time, don't fall for the bullshit, and I'm not even going to wear a freaking mask, the flu's the flu. And see you later, bye.